Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas
and Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as total organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Usha.
Let's start episode 351 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Lev, and he writes, Hi Vidas, thank you for the hints. Maybe it is a good idea to make a particular podcast or a course about optimal hymn pedaling for beginners, if one doesn't already exist. Best regards, Lev. Also, Lev has sent me a few of his pedaling choices for a few hymns that he's working on to correct for me, And at first he made, in my view, some choices that need to be changed, but then little by little, I think in the third hymn, he already started to do this very efficiently and almost like I would do it. So people are progressing and I'm very glad.
Yes, it's very nice to know.
If you were a beginner, imagine yourself like 25 or 30 years ago, and if somebody asked you to play a hymn from a hymnal in church, remember, you worked at Holy Cross Church, but not necessarily as a beginner, but still close, I think.
But sometimes I just think that you don't know how old I am and how old I was when I started to play organ.
Oh, please, reveal.
Because if you thought that 30 years ago, at that time I definitely haven't played organ yet.
So when? How long was that?
Well, never mind, but yes, I remember when I worked at the Holy Cross Church. And it was my second year of playing organ. I was almost 19 years old at that time. So
90 or 19?
19.
Uh-huh.
90, yes.
That's better.
Okay, stop teasing me because I lost my thought. So when I was just a beginner organist at Holy Cross Church, not a pedal playing was that hard for me, but understanding of the liturgy and knowing the mass so well that I could follow it, and come right on time with all those, answers that are not as easy in the Catholic Mass, at least for a beginner.
The order of the Mass was more difficult for you than pedal playing.
True. And it's really funny because in general I knew Mass order very well by that time. But since I knew it from, let's say, downstairs.
From a listener perspective.
It was a very different thing to be upstairs and to play for it.
To lead.
Well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But of course I played with the pedal. And I don't know how well I pedalized, was it right or wrong. I had no idea at that time what I'm doing.
Hmm. I've thought once that left foot should play the notes on the left side of the pedal board, and right foot should play the right notes on the pedal board.
Well, at least we played some with the pedal because, as it's often in Lithuania, organists don't use pedal at all.
Church organist, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we talked about it and have written quite a few posts about him pedaling, but not only him pedaling, in general pedaling, because we have to treat hymns as real organ compositions, I think.
Of course, yeah, real compositions.
So, but they are very short, like maybe 1 minute long, one verse, and relatively easy to learn. And I think we could remind our listeners some of the more important points about choosing the best pedaling, right? For me, it's first of all looking at the date of the hymn. When was it created? Why is it important, Osha?
Because I think the date determines what type of pedaling you need to use. Either you just need to use toes or heels as well.
Yes, and starting from 19th century, we could start to use heels. But not always, right? Still, I think whenever possible, alternate toe works well all the time. But in romantic hymns, 19th century hymns and 20th century hymns, we have more options. Okay, so if the hymn is created in early days, before 19th century, what's the most common technique, Osha?
The same as playing Bach or any Baroque composition.
What's so you mean alternate toe pedaling?
That's right.
Left, right, or right, left. But then there are exceptions. Obviously, you can't apply this technique all the time.
Sure, of course there are. As in any composition.
And exceptions are that you need to play with the same foot when the melody changes direction, or when there are very long note values. In hymns are not necessarily very many instances like that. But the third instance is, I think, when notes are very far in the edges of the pedal board, either in the bass or in the treble.
Of course, because if we are very far in the bass, you definitely want to play it with your left foot only.
For your physique, what's convenient to you? What's the lowest note that you could play with the right foot?
Well, probably. Maybe I could do G.
Me too. G is still okay. And after G, I play with left foot most of the time. I could do some things with the right, but also as an exception. And in the top range, what do you do then?
Well, probably A is the most highest note for my left foot.
So it depends what is the highest note on the pedal board.
Sure.
We always have, or almost always have, the lowest note of the pedal board as C, but the top note varies. So from G to C in the bottom octave, it's a perfect fifth. I suspect that also we need to look at the interval of the perfect fifth in the top range and play the fifth below that top note with the left foot, and above that only with the right foot. Conveniently, I mean.
Well, yes, I'm talking about these extremes.
Yeah, A seems like a doable thing for a lot of people. And then, of course, there is an instance when you could repeat the same foot before the strong beat in order to articulate.
True.
Agree?
Yes, that helps.
Okay, so that was for early type of hymns. If you have modern hymns, I think you have more choices, but also more freedom. Where would you start your method?
Well, it's as you just pedaling it as you would pedal any romantic composition.
And what would that look like?
You could use legato technique in the pedals. It means that you use not only toes but also heels. So it gives you more choices.
Obviously, when you have sharps, you play with the toes.
Obviously, of course, because that's how our physiology works. I don't think anyone could do vice versa.
In legato technique, normally we could play with heels and toes, and vice versa, two adjacent notes, which are one step apart.
Yes, and in these type of hymns, the organ shoes is very important too. As in earlier music, we can play whatever, but here we need real organ shoes.
With about 2 inches of heels, 2 inches or 3 centimeters, something like that. In one, in our organ studio, Unda Maris, there is one older student who has now acquired special shoes, but they are not organ shoes, but he uses them for playing organ only, and they are a little bit too long for him. So he is struggling with hitting the wrong sharps.
That's, I think, a very bad idea to play with the shoes that are too big for you. We need to be on the edge, actually.
And when he's placing his toes on the sharps edge of the sharp keys, then the end of the shoes is actually in the middle of the key.
That's horrible.
Maybe he will find something else too. So that's the general observations, and I think the more you play, the more variety you practice. I think the more experience you'll get too, and the process will become easier for you.
That's right. I think everything comes with experience and practice.
And it's natural to be bad before you get to be good at anything.
Well, I since think that not pedaling is, the hardest thing in him playing, but the left hand, the tenor voice. That's my opinion.
That's why I think too many people play bass and tenor in the left hand, and they double the bass line in the pedals as well.
Yes,
which is
I
not
noticed
good.
that quite a few times.
Okay, guys, we hope this was useful to you. Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, the sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your SS courses and all your help.
Robert writes, I found the fingerings, registration ideas and general comments to be excellent.
John writes, I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you were teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner, and I have committed to taking the time to get it right as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor.
Robert writes, it has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching.
Ron writes, Hi Vidas and Osha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home and lucky that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this haha no longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Osha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward.
Would you like to receive the same or even better results that our students are getting? If so, join them at organduo.lt/total-organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Osha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.